This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I'm your host, Gianna, and today we are talking to Angelo. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, Gianna? How you doing today?
Good. We're so glad to have you. So excited to get to know you. And I guess the best place to start would be the beginning, Angelo. So take us back. Who are you? Where are you from? How'd you end up in real estate?
I grew up in South Alabama. Degree in marketing and advertising from the University of Alabama. And ever since then, I've been in sales. I started off in mortgages and I sucked at it because mortgages require a ton of paperwork, as you were telling me earlier with you buying a house. And that's just not what I'm good at. And so I've sold everything from insurance to advertising. Before I got into real estate, I had a long stint in heavy equipment rentals. And so that business was really relationship based and kind of really set the foundation for how we were going to run our real estate business. And 2014, I was going to go get my real estate license. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I was taking the class and I was having lunch with a friend of mine. He was starting a Caldwell Banker franchise. And he offered me what I thought at the time was a good deal, an 80-20 split, some leads. And I got started. And I'll tell you, the first, I got one big deal from one of my very good friends and mentors right off the bat and made it like a $15,000 commission. And I was like, man, that's some good money for really not a whole lot of work. But then the reality set in of working internet leads and just the amount of work it took to make them. And I was at a 50-50 split with the company sourced leads. And anyways, after 2 years of doing that, the girl that was partners with my buddy, she wanted out of the brokerage. And I bought her shares of the brokerage. And after 2 years of being in real estate, a big dummy, became a owner broker of a franchise. And you grow up and you think, hey, I should be an entrepreneur. I should be a business owner. What they don't tell you, at least with being a broker owner I'm assuming any real estate brokerage, is that it's a bunch of work. You're running a squirrel farm.
Squirrel farm.
It's not a very profitable venture. You're honestly much better off selling real estate on a platform that can pay you the most amount of money and allows you to leverage your time the best. And so it took me a while to do it and to understand that. After 2 years of running this brokerage, we finally got it from a money losing operation to a slightly profitable operation. But even then, I was doing all the work and I'd make, at the end of the year, the brokerage, I'd make maybe 70 grand off of it. And I was like, man, I could do 3-4 more deals in real estate, not have to manage all these people and make that same amount of money. And so we dissolved. We wanted out of our Caldwell Banker contract. We had to pay a little bit of money to get out of it. And that's when I joined EXP. And I just started back with me and an assistant. I'd built up a pretty nice book of business, started running a brokerage. Wasn't really keeping up with that business, was making less money. Mm-hmm. And then we started over, I think this is my 4th year with EXP, and we've grown exponentially because of that. Some of that, I think, especially on the revenue side, is because of EXP. And some of it is because I have a really good coaching program that I follow, and they keep me accountable. And I think that's the hardest thing for any kind of business owner or people in general, but especially real estate agents, because if we're good at what we do, we bond really quickly with people. but we are shiny object people. So it's really easy to get pulled in 50 directions and really not surrender to a process and a system that will set you up for success.
Right.
Here we are today. I think we've done this year close to 35 million halfway through the year. And it's me as the only real estate agent. I've got a great support staff on the back end. My wife works with me. She runs operations. I realize I suck at operations. I don't like managing people.
And you leveraged that out.
Leveraged it out. I've got a full-time personal assistant who manages all our listings, a full-time transaction coordinator here on site, and a full-time marketing person on staff. So at the end of the day, like, my role is really limited to a handful of things: writing thank you cards, making my phone calls, getting my face-to-faces in. And then we do a couple other things where, it's like I write a letter of the heart once a month, which is nothing to do with real estate, but it's a personal touch, because, like, at the end of the day, so much of what we do deals with emotions. So we have to have emotional connections with people.
Absolutely. Angelo, I love that. So, you said you were in a sticky situation, with a lot of, risk and liability and hardly profitable. And you came over to EXP. What drew you to EXP? How'd you find out about it?
A friend of mine, Will Johnson, out of Nashville, Tennessee, called me up and was like, "Hey, I want to bring this guy, Rob Campbell, down." And Rob he was at the time, back in the heyday, Rob was the number one broker owner for RE/MAX. But I didn't know Rob Campbell. And we're in Orange Beach, Alabama. Most people don't even think Alabama has beach or Gulf front or waterfront, but we're a small little stretch of Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, as beautiful white sand beaches. And we're in the very bottom of Alabama, and Rob shows up. He's in all black. He's got rings on every finger, just like not like what we're used to seeing down here. But Rob was smart as a whip, and he went through that presentation, and I was like twitching, trying to get out of, like, I halfway through it, I was like, why are we doing Caldwell Banker now? We need to get out of this. But it took us like 7 to 9 months to unwind that corporate ball we were in. I had partnership with a good friend, so it was a tough conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also just getting out of that. So I think finally 2018, November 2018. No, that's when they showed it to us, November 2017. And then by July of 2018, I brought my whole brokerage over. We had a few people that went other places, because you know what? At the time, there wasn't that many agents. I think there was, like, when they showed it to me, there was like 7,000. And by the time I got over, there was like 10 or 14 or something. It wasn't a whole lot. And there was nobody in our market, like 12 people, when they were doing a total of like $3 million in production. So it was completely foreign concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, like you said, there's some tough conversations to be had there, and that sense of loyalty, but you did it. You're icon agent over here. You're killing it. And Angelo, since you've been over here, what is something that maybe you fall in love with that you didn't know that EXP had to offer at first?
Well, I feel like I kind of knew everything. It's pretty straightforward. If somebody that knows what they're showing you shows it to you correctly, and I think, like, the hardest thing for people if they're, like, considering leaving their current situation is they'll quite often, if they're in an office, have personal relationships either with the other agents in their office, or they quite often have personal relationships with their broker. And I think that those are tough things to change, and just changing in general. Changing your brokerage it can be stressful enough as it is. I've made a small fortune buying EXP stock.
Yeah.
And then plus the stuff that's awarded to me. I'm not the biggest recruiter in the world, or agent attraction. I've actually, I don't like the word recruitment, because really what it is attraction. And I think that, I never wanted to be known in my market as the guy that you had to like have a sigh when you're like, oh, Angelo's calling. What's he going to talk to me about? So, what we do, we just provide lunch and learns, nothing about EXP. We'll have very specific things, whether they're relating to 1031s or here we have a thing called a beach mouse and wetlands delineation and stuff that you quite often don't get from your brokerage office. The stuff that I either know about or want to know about. And so I just invite the people that know that to come into our office, or actually we rent out a restaurant and we pay for everything and do it for free. And then I just think when you pour into people, you eventually get it back. And they know who I'm with. And I mean, I'm not a braggy person, but I'm a big agent in my market. There's hardly anybody that does more business than I do. So I think that I provide a lot of things for people when they're thinking about coming over. But EXP, I mean, the platform, you pay 16 grand in, you cap, was it like 275 a deal after that? I think with the transaction fee, 20 more deals, you icon, then you pay $75 a deal. Like, is it for everybody? No, I don't think so. And I don't tell people that. I think that, like, you have to have a certain amount of self-starter in this business. And I think EXP even requires a little bit more of that. But I think if you're that agent that has that, and I've taken brand new agents that have come over and like in 2 years, they're iconing. And then I think, like, those kind of people, you can kind of tell who's got that right kind of drive pretty quickly. I think when you already kind of know how to talk to people, if your back's a little bit against the wall and you gotta make things happen, you will. And then I think for the agents that are doing 2.5 to 3 million that know they're going to climb, but you're on somewhere where you're getting a 60-40, 80-20 split, or even heck a 90-10 split, I think you got to really look at EXP because on a strictly financial basis, and if we're doing this for ourselves and we're doing it for our family, and I hate when people's answer for why they're doing this is like, I just want to help people and show them houses and stuff. I just feel like that's a very insincere answer. I mean, the truth is this is a hard business and it's really mentally taxing. It's a grind to work for something that you have no guarantee of income. So if you're really honest with yourself, you're doing this so you can make money. And I don't know very many professions that you can go make $1 million a year without having some specialized degree, and real estate's one of them. But it requires some hustle. It requires some mentorship from people that can show you how to run a business, show you how to run a P&L, and surrendering to a system and process of actually procuring that business and setting a foundation for yourself in the long run.
Absolutely. And that's, that's one of the cool things about real estate, right? Like you can build your business to be that high of a dollar, but you've got to surround yourself with good people. That proximity is power, mentorship, continuous education, and not be afraid to get out there.
And I know it just danced all around, like, what are the things that EXP offers that I didn't know? And I knew what EXP offered, and they offer a great commission split. They offer the opportunity to attract agents and earn money off that downline, which is a freaking tremendous opportunity. And they offer stock. Right now, the stock I own in EXP is probably 100 times more valuable than the 50% ownership I had in the Coldwell Banker franchise. And the truth is, with a lot of these franchises or a mom and pop brokerage, is who's going to buy that from you at the end of the day. Like Coldwell Banker, Remax, Century 21, they don't have to renew that agreement with you when it comes up, and quite often they don't. As you get older and you're winding down, your production drops off, you don't have the fire in you as much. Guess what? their business model is predicated on somebody growing that brand in that local market. And if you're not the person, they ain't going to renew it with you.
Right.
And, at the end of the day, we're not running. I mean, we like to call it businesses, but let's call it what it is. It's a practice, right? If you're a doctor and you specialize in whatever surgery or whatever it is you specialize in, but you're going to retire, like who takes over that practice, right?
Right.
Like you've got a list of patients, you have some real estate assets, usually associated with that practice, but that practice is you. And that's what a real estate business is. So real EXP with that downline, and you don't have to go get 10, 20 people a year. You go bring on 2, 3 people a year, which is what I do. And you do that over the course of 20 or 30 years, you'll have a very nice downline of retirement set of income coming in from that. You have stock in EXP, which, it's went way up. It's back down. I love when it's back down. I was like kind of bummed when it was like 180 a share. I was like, man, like every time I buy this, it's super expensive. It's going to be hard to scale this, but now it's back down. I think when the general consensus is this is probably somewhere around a $60 to $80 share stock. So at some point it'll go back up. If you're young like me and you, we got a long runway.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's true. And those multiple streams of income, they definitely add up. And, whether that's rev shares, stock options, you name it, EXP provides those options. And Angelo, obviously you're a pretty busy guy, you're working on recruiting, you have enough production for Icon. So, as busy as you are, how do you set time aside for yourself? How do you make sure that you're recharged and the best version of you facing your clients, family, and team?
Schedule it. Schedule it. Everything's scheduled. Date night with my wife is scheduled. Time with my kids is scheduled. I mean, at a certain point in your life, I remember when I was younger, I would never commit to anything. I wanted to see what all the options are.
Yes.
And I figure out whatever I really wanted to do. But, you're right. You've got commitments to your clients. You got commitments to the people that work for you. You've got commitments to your wife and your kids and your friends. And you have commitments to yourself, because you can burn out. It's really easy to say work 14, 15 hours a day.
Right.
Totally not healthy. And that's not, when somebody says that they just love the grind, man, I call BS on that. It's exciting putting deals together, but I don't know anybody that says that they love working 10 to 14 hours a day. It makes no sense. So at a certain point, you got to have a tight schedule. You got to honor that schedule. And then you got to leverage people around you. And that forces you to be a better leader, be a better mentor. And then when your business quits being about me, becomes about we, that's where you really start seeing the growth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Angela, let's talk a little bit more about the Icon Award, right? So you need to hit a certain level of production and you've got a cap and you have to hit 20 transactions after that. So in your market in Orange Beach, about how many houses do you have to sell, like average house price to hit your cap?
Well, I'm very fortunate. Right now, I think we're averaging about 880 a deal. So it's easy to get to the cap.
Yeah.
This is my last month. And then I go back to reset in July. I was just figuring it out. I think we need 88,000 in GCI to cap, basically pay your 16 in. I think we have about 107 on the books. We got a couple other stuff we'll negotiate. So, I guess it depends on your size of deal, right? And we all fish in different ponds. Like if you're in Miami, you're selling $15 and $20 million homes, you cap right off the bat. That's probably, might be a little bit harder to Icon in that market. If you're right down the street from me in Foley or Mobile, Alabama, and your average house is 300,000, you just back the math into that. I don't really, I guess, anyway, it usually takes me 5 to 10 deals to cap, sometimes 1 or 2. And then to Icon, I got to do 20 more deals, not just sides, but actual deals.
Right.
So, I think we'll do 13 deals this month, and we average 5 to 7 deals a month. Every once in a while, if you're always pushing, you got the 5 to 7 deals you're doing, and then you'll have one of those months where you'll do 9 to 10. You'll have a month where you do 13 to 14. Then you'll have a month where you do just 5.
Yeah.
So, I think the trick is you just look at over year. If I did 5 in June last year, well, I just want to be 1 better than I was. So if you're just constantly going to get that 1 better, that's kind of where you want to be. Last year, we had 3 months where we did $5 million in volume. Well, this year we wanted to do 5 months of $5 million in volume. Well, I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those already for the first half of the year, and I know that we'll be at $5 million in volume in July. So, we're just constantly trying to get a smidgen better every day, but it really comes down to micro commitments.
Absolutely. And Angela, what's your cultural commitment as far as iconing goes? Vetting icons, teaching in the EXP world, mentoring.
We do mentoring.
Okay.
I like mentoring. I like mentoring the right people. I don't take everybody.
Yeah.
And the truth is if you do take everybody, you dilute what you bring to the table. But when you get me as a mentor, you get to sit in my office. You get to sit in on, and I work. I know a lot of people work from home, and one of the great things about EXP is that you have that. But we have a handful of people that work for us. I personally like to get out of the house, and I don't want all my people that work with us coming to my house. I don't mind it, but that's not where I want to be every day with them. So you get to sit in, you get to listen to me make phone calls. You get to understand how that day, that week, that month is planned out.
Sure.
I give you a very detailed plan of what that looks like. I'm not a big fan of buying internet leads because I've done that on a high level. At one point we're spending anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a month just on internet leads, and the ROI on that is roughly 50%. So it's good if you're a single practitioner, but you should be working towards getting off that internet lead and building a book of business. And I understand it in the beginning. Hell, I built a lot of my client base the beginning off of internet leads.
Sure.
Once you get them, it's almost like a lost loser. Like, what do you do with that person? Everybody says, we want to provide this great customer service experience. Well, I always ask people, well, what's that look like? Do you have a process for what that looks like? You want to keep up with people after the sale. Well, I mean, if you send me a Christmas card once a year on Christmas, I don't really feel the love from you. I mean, that's such an easy thing to do, but it's not going to do good to keep him up with me in the long run. So it's silly. We have a form called an All About You form. Birthdays, anniversaries, spouses, kids, cats, dogs, favorite cocktail, favorite charity, favorite sports team. So we'll build out a whole calendar around that person. So, and then they're getting our monthly letter of the heart and our evidence of success postcard. Real estate's such a belly to belly, hand to hand kind of deal that, you really want to be known in your community and amongst enough people that you're the number one choice. I think I read a stat one time, like 60% of people know just one real estate agent, 20 know 2 real estate agents, and the rest know 3. But hey, Bill, who did you use for real estate? Angelo. That's kind of what you want. And we always you want that referral, right? So we say in the beginning, hey, we're under contract. We use a term called reticular activator. You ever heard of reticular activator?
What's that?
So it's like this. You went and bought a brand new BMW today. You're driving around Nashville, and while you're driving your brand new BMW, you notice everybody else who's driving BMWs.
Oh, okay.
Same thing in a real estate transaction. Gianna, you're buying a house with me. You're selling a house with me. Guess what? You're in a real estate transaction. I need a favor from you. Like you are going to, because of reticular activation, you're going to notice people who are thinking about or doing real estate transaction, and that they're also going to notice you. I need you to be out on the lookout for those people, because just like Justin referred you to me, that's how my business is built. And I need to replace you with somebody else. Like, so I have two responsibilities. I've got to create a new lead because you're buying a house now, and I've got to provide excellent customer service. So can I ask you something, Gianna?
Sure. What do you need, Angelo?
If we're providing you really good customer service, and we're going to ask that throughout the process, can we ask you for a lead at that same time?
Sure. That's
how it happens.
On to the next.
And so, like, if you wait till the very end of the transaction, you're going to be so excited about moving in. You're not even
thinking about it, right? Yeah.
You're not going to think of that. So it's setting it up and working it throughout the thing. And then, I'm blessed because I have a pretty large staff, but you got to start somewhere, right? So then you're getting the All About You form. And now I know when your birthday is. I know what your favorite dessert is. So, if I know you like carrot cake, and you sent me your aunt and she's going to buy a house with me, maybe I'll just send you a carrot cake. Or if I know, whatever it is you're into, you specialize that gift to that person.
Absolutely. Yeah. And add that little personal touch to it, right? It makes it go so much further. And Angelo, my last question involving the Icon Award is going to be, it comes with a lot of benefits. You get your cap back in stock, the opportunity to go to EXP and shareholders. So, of course, we can't forget about that nice glass, big shiny trophy. So of all those things, what do you like the most?
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like that stock. I mean, like the trophy, everybody sends me a trophy. I got a whole shelf full of trophies. My favorite trophy is a stuffed toy dragon I got.
Wait, did you catch you as a trophy?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For slaying your business.
Wait, that's cute. I love that.
So we got the whole staff. When we earned that one, we got the whole staff. My mother-in-law who watches my kids for me, and the kids all won. That's probably the harder one to get. But I love that stock. I mean, like, it's so fun going back into your dashboard and seeing what that stock was worth when you got it and what that stock is worth today. I mean, some of that's like $32,000 to the positive for just doing what I was already doing, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't somebody, like, if you're already a high producer, I don't even know why you're at another brokerage. I always, me and my wife, because we work together, we always talk about it. We're like, why do you think they're there? It makes no sense. Like, we're nerds. We'll work the numbers on what we think that production looks like. And be like, it just makes no sense. But everybody its timing is everything. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear kind of scenario. It's got to be the right time for a lot of people. And, I think that's what I tell my clients. That's what I tell people that are talking with me about coming over. Nobody wants to be pushed into it. So I think you're really just trying to provide some information, and, if it makes sense for them and they're ready to make the leap, then you're there to help them when they do.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue to my last question, Angelo. It would be for somebody who's sitting on the fence right now. They see the greener grass at EXP and they hear the negative things out there, like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, it's a cult, this and that. But they see so many benefits at the same time, and they've got that loyalty to their broker, or like your situation, maybe you were in business with a good friend. So that being said, what's some advice to make that final leap and join EXP?
You know what? I think in anything, especially if you're married, you got to talk to your spouse about it. I think that's the first thing that you got to do, because if your spouse not on board with it, then guess what? It's not going to be that's not going to be a good long-term solution for you. But if you're looking at it and you got this relationship with your broker, and you've been with your company for a while, and we get so caught up of being in our comfort zone. And I think when you look at either what's your why, I think you need to take a deep dive into that.
Right.
And I think when you look at security of your family and building out a legacy, I know for me, I wanted my kids to have courage to step out and be a little different. And I think coming to EXP does take a little bit of courage, because you know, I don't care who you are, you may be being judged by your friends or your peers that are with your brokerage. I think, like, if we're honest, that like there's a little bit of that with coming over to us. You know, I don't mind it. And I think at one point we're a little bit of the redheaded stepchild, right? And I think that we still have a little bit of that moxie about us, but we're bigger than most brokerages.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing at an incredible rate.
And I think, like, we're still in the ground floor of what this brokerage is going to be. And so if you really want to create that generational opportunity for your family, and that's where I was. I saw it, and I saw generational wealth. And I would imagine, and I watched a few episodes of this before I got on here, that a lot of your what am I, a guest? I'm a guest. A lot of the guests here, they saw opportunity for generational wealth. And that's what really attracted me, was like, the platform. There's no platform out there that pays a better split for an agent that does high production. So if you want to have that high production level, there's nobody else that you should be with. I think the icon conversations and all the training, I know I could never offer the amount of training that EXP offers to new agents. And I would say one of the key things that I noticed with agents that came over underneath me was not just what I provided to them, but like they took a deep dive into that EXP training and that opportunity to really understand real estate. And you get to see it from all kind of perspectives, from either people that are export marketers and built a great big business off of marketing, or somebody that built a great big business off of client relationships, or somebody that built a big downline. There is a roadmap, and I've never seen this anywhere. The amount of people that want to share their story and show you
collaboration,
and collaborate and show you how they made their lick, how they made their mark on the world.
Right.
Whether it's through coaching, whether it's through mentorship or marketing or client relations, there's somebody that will show you how to build the business that you want to build, and build not just a business, but you asked about time with my family, how to build the life you want to build. And guess what? It's not easy in the beginning, and it's always going to be filled with self-doubt.
Right.
As you grow, it gets easier. But why would you dig ditches all your life? Digging ditches might be easy in the beginning because it's not, no brain power, but the mental mindset to do that for your whole life will be miserable. Like, come with a company that's growing, because we're going to pour into your cup. And I think when you find a group of people that will do that, that's pretty special. And that's what I found here.
Absolutely. Angelo, I love that. I think your story is incredible. Are you going to Shareholders?
You know what? Shareholders falls under an event that I already had on the books.
Boo.
I know. I feel horrible. I love EXPCon, and I love Shareholders. And I would say this: I'm not going to this one, but I've gone to almost every other one. And like, I do miss to get to see all my friends from all over the country.
Yeah,
And like, we always take a little bit of something back from there
of course.
and we implement it into what we do.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Angelo, we'll miss you at Shareholders, but we'll have to get in touch at EXPCon. And is there anything you want to leave the listeners with today as we wrap it up?
As your journey through life, and it has its ups and its downs, I just think that we get caught up sometimes in the numbers, and we don't have sometimes a clear vision of what we really want. So I think as you're watching this, as you're building your business, like, kind of map out what you want that life to look like, because it's easy to live in a gap and never enjoy the gain. You always measure backwards. If you're measuring forwards, you're measuring against a horizon, and it's always going to be moving forward. Take some time, spend time with your wife, with your family, with your kids, with your friends. Enjoy the journey, the struggles, the wins. You got to celebrate the wins, because the struggle,
big and small.
they have to be. And I struggle with that my whole life. We're having our best year ever, and sometimes I can find all the gaps in that win. And so I'd say enjoy it. Enjoy the journey.
Angelo, thank you so much today, and we will touch base before EXPCon, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Gianna.
Awesome. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at SphereRocketVA.com and find out how we can make your life easier.